everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you have never been here before. My name is Amy and I love to make videos here on YouTube all about books. So as you can already tell by the title, in this video I thought I would share with you a few books which I've picked up over the last few months, and by a few I kind of mean a lot. So this is my pile of books that I have recently hauled and I'm very excited to share with you what I've been picking up. I have actually read a few of these books already, but I'll just talk you through that as we go. And also, I do have a few books which I have picked up on my Kindle, but I'll share them at the end of the video. I don't know about you guys, but I always get really excited when it's physical books. Although I do read a lot on my Kindle, there's something so special about physical books. I don't know whether it's the fact that you get to hold it and kind of see your progress, or the smell. I can't decide which is the better. The majority of the books that I have to show you are generally romance, but there are a few other ones in here. Some I really don't know much about, some I've heard some amazing reviews, so without further ado, let's get into the video. I hope this is going to work. I'm just going to go down my pile here and hopefully they're in some kind of order. So starting off, I did pick up The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I did mention this book in my last video, which would have been my first video. So this is a kind of a Halloween story. As you can tell, it's definitely about witches, and the reason I picked this up, honestly, is because the boyfriend or the ex in this is a Welsh character called Rhys, so I thought that was really interesting. I don't think I've read a book with a Welsh character before. I'm trying to think, but I really can't remember any, so because I am Welsh, I just got really excited about this, so I'm definitely going to try and read this before the end of October. I just want to get all the spooky vibes, and this one sounds like a really fun story. I've heard quite a lot of people reviewing this and I thought I would just give it a go myself. Moving along to the next book, this is The Undead Girl Gang from Lily Anderson. So this is one of the books I've actually read this month. Undead Girl Gang definitely gives me Sabrina the Teenage Witch vibes. This is about a teenage girl called Mila, and her best friend Riley passes away kind of suddenly, and everybody in the town thinks that it's a suicide because previously in the week, two of the most popular girls in school also committed suicide, or what seems like suicide, and Riley and Mila practiced magic when Riley was alive. Riley believed that they could be teenage witches and that spells were real, and Mila attempts a spell to bring back Riley from the dead. Need I say any more? This was just such a fun read. Things go horribly wrong, obviously, and the girls have to try and figure out who murdered them. This was one of the most fun reads I've read in a long time. It's the perfect book if you've just finished a really long, kind of arduous book, then I would definitely pick up something like this. It was definitely a palate cleanser and it was just so enjoyable. The story was like fast paced. I love the author's voice in this book, so if you are looking for like a quick Halloween spooky book, which is nothing too scary, this was honestly very tame, but just very enjoyable, then I would definitely recommend this one. I Want to Be a Teenage Witch. Moving along to my next pick, this is Where the Crawdads Sing. So honestly, I really don't know much about this book, apart from what's on the back, which says, for years, rumours of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barclay Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be loved. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. Before picking up this one, I really didn't do much research and I had seen this all over TikTok. So many people were saying that this is a great book and it should be studied in schools. So, I don't know, it just looks really kind of autumnal. I think it's the colour scheme, but I am very excited to read this, and I don't know, I don't really know too much. I don't really want to know much more than what says on the back because I'm afraid I'll spoil it for myself. But I definitely think this is very appropriate for this time of year. A bit of mystery, I am all in. I feel like with the next set of books, I might as well show you them together. They're all written by the same author, and I believe they're kind of a series, although I don't know how linked they are. So these, I'm sure you've seen them all over the internet, are some books by Helen Huang. I hope that's how you pronounce her name. The first one is The Kiss Quotient. The second is The Bride Test, and last but not least, this is The Heart Principle. I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally have my hands on these. For the longest time, I couldn't get my hands on the Kiss Quotient. I could have bought it on my Kindle, but I really wanted the paperback copy. But now that I have it, I am very excited to finally delve in and see what all the fuss is about. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what each of these books is about, because I'm sure you've heard it a million times, probably put better than I ever could. So I'm just going to give you a brief summary. The first book, The Kiss Quotient, is about a girl called Stella, and she has Asperger's. I think that Stella finds dating and love very confusing, and so she hires a male escort to kind of show her the ropes and help her along. I think that this has a fake dating trope, which I am all about, so I really can't wait to give this one a go. And then comes The Bride Test. So this is the second book in the series. I don't know too much about this one. I do know that one of the characters has autism. So again, really great representation and inclusivity. I'm all about that, so I'm very excited to see how that is portrayed in this book. And then finally comes The Heart Principle. So I've just read on the back of this book, and the last names are the same, so I'm guessing that it's family members and that's how each of the books is linked. I could be completely wrong, so please correct me in the comments down below. But this one I know is very hard-hitting. There's a lot of trigger warnings going into this book, so if you are interested in giving this a read, definitely check them out beforehand. A lot of people have said that they didn't think that this book would hit as hard as it did. So, I don't know, I'm a little apprehensive, but I am excited to see how this book handles such situations. I have only ever heard good things about these books, so I'm sure I'll love them, but I will definitely report back once I've finished them. I was thinking about doing a reading vlog because I've never even attempted anything like that before, so let me know in the comments if that would be a good idea. But yeah, and they also look beautiful on a bookshelf. Just a bonus. Okay, we need to talk about this book. I have seen so many mixed reviews, so I've never heard somebody saying that they dislike this book, but I've heard a lot of people saying that it's overhyped. I've already started listening to this on Audible. I'd say I've been listening to it for about like a month maybe. I'm not too good with audiobooks. I always find an excuse not to listen to them. I would much rather read a book, but from what I've heard so far, I think I'm like chapter 6, so I'm not even that far in, but oh my goodness, I have fallen in love with this book. I think I'm definitely going to sit solidly in the love it camp. This is such a fun book. The way that it's told, it's very like steamy, and I don't know, you just feel things when you read this book. It's definitely an enemies to lovers romance. It's about Lucy and Josh, and they both work for the same company and they sit opposite each other. They're like the assistants of the bosses because two companies merged, and Josh came from the really like straight-edged company and Lucy came from the kind of eccentric book publishing company. And together they both have the same job title, but each under their respective bosses. And a job opportunity comes up, but only one of them is able to get the position. So they are definitely set against each other, but as you're reading, you just feel their emotions and they are so into each other. It's insane. I'm starting to fangirl a little bit. I haven't even finished it yet, but I'm sure that I will love every second of this. The next author I'm going to talk about is by far one of my favourite authors on this planet. So this is by Colleen Hoover. I picked up All Your Perfects and Maybe Someday. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to just sit down for the afternoon and solidly read. I have heard only good things again. I think that Colleen Hoover is definitely one of the most consistent authors. I did put on my October TBR, Verity and Layla. I finished Verity. I'll leave it for another video to give you my thoughts. And I've also read Ugly Love, This Ends With Us, and Regretting You? Is it called Regretting You? I think so. Maybe Someday is about a girl called Sydney, and she is living an amazing life. She's living her best life, and she has a job and a boyfriend, until one day she sees, I think, her neighbour who lives opposite her on his balcony playing music, and I don't know, I guess this stirs up her situation and she falls in love with him. I don't know too much about this. Again, I put my whole faith in Colleen Hoover to tell a great story. This one just sounds really fun, really romantic, and I don't know, I'm just going to give it a go. And then moving on to All Your Perfects. This one sounds so good. So the back reads, Then, the last thing Quinn expected was to meet the love of her life just outside her fiancé's front door. A year after leaving behind their cheating partners, Quinn and Graham are in a perfect relationship that seems designed by fate. Now, 7 years later, their perfect love is threatened by their imperfect marriage. The memories, mistakes, and dreams that they have built up over the years are tearing them apart. The one thing that could save them might also be the very thing that pushes their marriage past the point of no return. This one? Okay, I don't think I've actually read a book with married couples in it, unless it's been a series, like the Addicted series and the Calloway Sister series. Like, they kind of get married within the series. So this will be really interesting to explore a relationship inside a marriage. I don't know how different that's going to be. I know it's a really weird thing to think, but yeah, I've just never read a book, I don't think, with like marriage. I sound so sheltered right now, but Colleen Hoover is amazing. End of. Oh, okay. I picked up this next book because it just looks so cozy and comforting. So this is The House in the Cerulean Sea. And oh my goodness, does this not look like the cutest book to curl up with in front of the fire? From what I know about this book, which really isn't a lot, and from the back, this is about a man called Linus Baker who lives a relatively quiet, mundane life. And at the department in charge of magical youth, he monitors orphans at the orphanage. So I think that the orphans have magical powers. I think they're kind of dangerous, so Linus must somehow determine if they could bring on the end of days, but their guardian, charming and enigmatic, will do anything to protect his wards. As Arthur and Linus grow ever closer, Linus must choose between his duty and his dreams. This book has won so many different awards, and I know that there's queer representation in this book, which is incredible. Love to see it. And yeah, I don't know, it just looks very wholesome. I just can't wait to read this, especially this time of year. It's just cozy. It's a cozy read. This is one book I think you've probably seen all over the internet, and this is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I got mine from Costco, and there's a sticker on the cover which I can't get off, and it's so annoying. Like, does this not ruin the aesthetic vibes? I don't know. Anyway, this is from the author of Normal People, and I know that Sally Rooney focuses a lot on characters. They're not so much plot-driven books, but more like character focused, which is really nice sometimes and a bit of a change. So the back of the book is a bit ominous. It doesn't really give much away about what the book's about. So it says, I was sitting half asleep in the back of a taxi, remembering strangely that wherever I go, you are with me, and so is he. And that as long as you both live, the world will be beautiful to me. Kind of fascinating. I don't know, we'll give it a go, see what it's like. I know so many people love Normal People and conversations with friends. So yeah, I'm willing to give this a go. I'm not the biggest fan of character-driven plots or stories, but hey ho, we're here now. Oh my goodness, okay, my last two paperbacks, and this is from one of my favourite authors again. So this is Marina Zapata. You have already probably seen Marina Zapata all over the internet, over TikTok and YouTube, or BookTube. She is the author of Culty. That is the book for me that really just made me fall in love with this author. So I decided to pick up two more books. So this one is From Lukov with Love, and the second one is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I know that this one is a football romance, and I believe it's about a girl called Vanessa who is kind of like an assistant or something to the football team, or maybe even just this specific football player. Okay, his name is Aiden, and one day I think she quits her job or she gets fired, one or the other, and he turns up at her door asking if she will come back to her job. I don't know if I'm 100% correct, but I feel like there might be fake relationship trope in this, which is perfection. I love that trope. Marina Zapata is also the queen of slow burn. That is what she's known for, and her books usually only see the characters getting together towards like the last third of the book. So this is a hefty one. I think this book is about 700 pages long. I just have to read it. I just have to read this. And then also not forgetting From Lukov with Love, which looks like an ice skating romance, The back says, if someone were to ask Jasmine Santos to describe the last few years of her life with a single word, it would definitely be a 4-letter one. After 17 years and countless broken bones and broken promises, she knows her window to compete in figure skating is coming to a close. But when the offer of a lifetime comes in from an arrogant idiot she spent the last decade dreaming about pushing in the way of a bus, Jasmine might have to reconsider everything, including Ivan Lukov. Again, this is probably going to be a slow burn because that is what Marina Zapata is known for, and I am very excited. I love sports romances, and I've never read an ice skating romance. If you've never read any of Marina Zapata's books before, then definitely please give them a go. At first, I did find Culty a little bit difficult to get into just because things were moving so slowly and I'm not used to that pace. When I read a book, I do like the fast-paced kind of romance books, but there's just something so special when you hit that moment when the characters are in love with each other and they finally get together. It's just like 10 times better. So yeah, definitely recommend this author. I can't wait to read this. Moving along to my Kindle picks, I have picked up quite a few books as well from Kindle Store. I'm just going to pop the pictures of the book covers up here. So the first one I picked up was The Soulmate Equation from Christina Lauren, and this one sounds incredible. This book is about a man who has kind of invented the soulmate equation to determine how much percentage match you are to somebody, and this woman, she finds out about it and she kind of thinks it's no way that you can find your soulmate like that, and lo and behold, she takes the test and she has got the closest match ever seen, and it's with the guy who invented the soulmate equation. This book sounds like so much fun and I know it's going to be a good read. The next book which I purchased on my Kindle is The Love Hypothesis. I have seen this all over TikTok, all over YouTube, and it just sounds so good. So this one is a contemporary romance. All I know about this one is that it has a fake dating trope, which, as I have said, is one of my favourite tropes ever, so I already know that I'm going to love this book, and that the scenes in this are spicy, which again, gotta love it. I have a funny feeling I'm going to end up picking this one up in paperback because any of my favourite Kindle picks I always like to get like a hard copy of. So yeah, I expect to see this on my shelf soon. Finally, my last Kindle purchase is one which is kind of like The Hating Game. I've seen it all over TikTok and YouTube. So this is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Now, again, I have tried to stay as spoiler-free as possible. The only real thing I know is that this is inspired by Schitt's Creek characters, or like the situation that they're in. And I think that the girl is kind of based on Alexis. I think that this is going to be incredible. I love Schitt's Creek, so fingers crossed the book lives up to the hype. I hope that it's not one of those books that's too overhyped and when I come to read it, it kind of falls flat. So I have big hopes for this one, but I will probably let you guys know in a future video. Finally, that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching my haul. I know I love to watch these videos myself, so hopefully you enjoyed seeing what I've been picking up over the last few months. And I'm sure I will continue to keep picking things up. I have no money for anything else but books, but I'm okay with that. As always, I hope you have a wonderful morning or night wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!